All right, good Friday morning. Today's Friday, November 22nd, 2024, and this is your safety meeting. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department here at Prime. We are located in the Z building, ground level, center of the room, right next to the pillar. So if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to stop by and we'll try to get you pointed in the right direction. We are live here in Springfield, Missouri, and we are simulcasting to our other locations in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Pittston, Pennsylvania, and we are live across the social. So welcome to our folks that are watching live, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. As always, breakfast is free at all three of our locations. So if you haven't jumped in line yet, place your order. Now's the time to do so. John Blanchett and his team do a fantastic job of every single Friday, every single Prime event, making sure they take care of all of us hungry Prime folks. So if you would, just quickly, as a small token of our appreciation, let's give those folks a round of applause to say thank you. Good deal, good deal. So let's go east first. Pittston, Pennsylvania. You got Rick Ifford and Rick Yarbrough. This isn't awkward at all.
They're supposed to say something back, aren't they?
Probably having some technical difficulties. So let's go west. Jonathan, we got you out there. Good morning.
Good morning. You do have me today. How's everybody doing?
Doing fantastic.
Good, good. Well, we're going to have a little bit of a heat wave out here in Salt Lake City. We're going to hit the 60-degree mark, so we're pretty excited about that. But I think it's just going to be a little bit of a tease because all next week we're projected to be back in the 30s. So don't get too excited if you're out here. We did have a pretty decent orientation class this week, or a smaller one because of the holiday coming up, of course, but some good folks coming in. Really excited for them to start their trucking careers with us. I did want to give a couple pointers. Obviously, Thanksgiving's less than a week away. A lot of folks are out running right now, but probably starting to come into the last load or two before they go to the house. Really want to encourage you guys that do have time off plans. You know, communicate with your fleet managers. Try to get those locations to drop your trailers off, locked down. Super important that we get our trailers taken to shippers or receivers or drop yards, whatever it may be. But also, we just really don't want those trailers sitting at your house. So please make sure you coordinate that with your fleet managers, clean them out, make sure they're in good working order, and get them to places that we can utilize them. Other than that, for anybody else that's working over the holiday, I really appreciate your guys' efforts. You know, servicing our customers is super crucial, obviously, to what we do. So thank you for spending that time on the road. If that's what you're doing, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and thanks again for all you do.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
Will do. Thanks, Dennis.
Hey, let's try Pittston one more time. Are you guys with us yet?
We are. Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Doing great. Good morning. How are you, Rick?
Good morning. Hey, a great week we had this week. Little crappy weather today. Some snow, about 6-7 inches, depending on where you're at. So just when you're coming through the yard, be careful next today and tomorrow. They're trying to get everything's plowed out, and just be careful moving around.
Yarbrough, you got anything for us this morning?
Yeah, pretty much more the same as what Rick just said. A little update here. You know, we are still making some improvements to the yard and some property down the street. But I'll just echo what Rick said. You know, it's slippery. This is one of those really slippery snows. It's not powdery. So walking through the yard, we are plowing, salting, keeping everything as clean as we can. Just be careful where you're stepping out there and how you're moving around. That's about it.
Hey, I do have an announcement. December 6th, for anybody that wants to come and have a little fun, we're having our Christmas party. Starts at 5:30.
Man, I cannot believe it's that time of year already. I feel like we just did the company picnic this summer, and now we're talking about the Christmas parties at the different locations. So December 6th, 5:30 p.m., Pittston, Pennsylvania. Appreciate you guys being with us this morning. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, buddy.
Right back here at Springfield, Missouri. Good morning, folks. Looks little bit of a, non-excited, excited, lull, but, we'll take what we can get, we appreciate you being here. I know we got some new folks here, so I just want to say welcome to our new folks. If you would stand at each of our locations so we can properly welcome you to the team. New folks, go ahead. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you being here. And of course, we always see some familiar faces at these things, and we appreciate having you guys here. Hopefully, whatever the reason you're here for, we can get you taken care of as quickly as we can to get you back out, producing some revenue. But while you're here, hopefully we can get you a little bit of free breakfast, some good amenities, and then get you back out. So, morning, John.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. What do you got for us this morning?
All right. Well, first, good morning, everybody. My name is John Harden. I'm also in the safety department. So, one thing I just wanted to mention to all the new folks, whether you're in Springfield, Pittston, Pennsylvania, Salt Lake City, Utah, out there listening on the social medias, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Reach out to your fleet manager if you're not at a terminal. If you're at a terminal, grab somebody that you saw with the microphone today during the meeting and ask them a question if they don't know the answer. We will find it out for you. So this is a wide open company. That card will get you in, anywhere you need to go. We encourage you to come in, establish and build those relationships with your business partners, your fleet manager, your payroll associate, your road assist associate, your log advisor, all the above. Make sure you introduce yourself and build those relationships. So every week we read out our prior week inspections. So I'm going to go through those numbers real quick. Last week, we had a total of 164 inspections. 113 of those were clean, so 69% clean inspection rate. So give yourself a round of applause. That's outstanding. But I do want to mention one thing that I saw whenever I went through the inspections this week, and we had far too many speeding violations. And so, as you all know, we don't get speeding tickets driving down I-80 or I-40, right? These are in residential, congested areas, where the speed limits drop down. So please make sure you're paying attention to those speed limit signs. Please make sure that we're going below the speed limit. We don't get that, little cushion like maybe some of the personal vehicles think they get. So, the speed limit's a speed limit. These fines are costly. They hurt the CSA score. And we just need to do a better job of going out there, abiding by the speed limit, making sure we're being safe, especially this time of year. As Rick mentioned, they're getting a lot of snow up there. We start seeing these accidents where weather is involved, and it's not the weather's fault, right? Typically, it's speeds are too fast for the conditions. So make sure that we're paying attention to that. Make sure we're looking at our weather apps, understanding what we're getting into, as you're driving down the road. So I do want to throw in a plug here. We don't have anybody from payroll or leasing talking this morning. So I just want to send out a reminder from those groups that with the holiday coming up next week, payroll cutoff will be on Tuesday. So Success Leasing wanted me to mention, if you are using a forgiven lease payment, to make sure that you request that by Tuesday of next week. Typically it's Wednesday, so they're moving that up a day. So that's all I got for you this morning there, Dennis.
Man, that's been short, quick, and to the point. And John touched a lot on speed. I'm going to touch a lot on seatbelts. So, this is an easy softball question. How many people wear their seatbelts out there? There should be every hand going up, but the reality is, the truth is, everybody doesn't. Okay. And, we learn, we know this because, that seatbelts is one of the terrible gut punches we get to our CSA score every month. And we know that drivers are being written up for either not using their seatbelt or not using it properly. And now that we've introduced, the Netradyne inward-facing camera, all it does is give us visual proof. But what it does do is it gives drivers an opportunity to self-correct. So those that do have the technology or that will be getting the technology soon, please watch your videos. Watch your videos. And if you're not sure how to do that, let's get with somebody that we can, make sure that you're logged on to the Driver Eye app, and we can make sure that you know how to access those videos. But two, if you get that inward alert, it gives you the opportunity to self-correct. What we don't want, John, is for an officer to help you self-correct. That's what the whole purpose of it is. Let's protect ourselves. Let's protect our scores. The proper way to wear a seatbelt is buckled, not under our shoulder, not behind our back, across our shoulder, no slack, right in between the two breastbones, right? So if you got it kind of hanging down on the arm, it's a potential you will be pulled over and written up. If you got it, kind of falling down, just arm, but not pressed up against you, that is a violation. That is not properly wearing your seatbelt. So it's important that you wear your seatbelt properly, okay? And if you have any questions about that, I know sometimes, it gets uncomfortable. There's a slack adjuster up there, so you can adjust it the way you want to. I've heard some folks where it irritates the neck or whatever the case may be. We sell different types of pads and cushions in the company stores at each of our locations. So if you need something to help you get that piece of compliance done, we can help. So
one thing I do want to add on that I forgot to mention, with the holiday coming up next week, of course, that means increased traffic out on the roadways, right? Everyone's going to see family. There's going to be more traffic out there. There's also going to be beefed up law enforcement out there because they know this as well. So let's make sure that we're watching our speeds, as we've been talking about. Make sure we've got plenty of following distance, and just be prepared for that additional traffic out there on the roadways.
And it's gift giving time. It's remiss. I'd be remiss if we didn't mention some more regulation as it pertains to alcohol inside of the cab of the truck. All right. And I like to give alcohol as gifts. Okay. A nice bottle of wine, a nice bottle of whiskey, whatever the case may be. And I think that they make excellent gifts, hint, hint. But
Hint, hint.
but one thing you cannot do, you cannot have that inside of the cab of your truck, whether it's sealed, whether it's open, whether you haven't consumed it in months, whether it's in the refrigerator. You cannot have alcohol inside of the cab of your truck. So, and I know most of the time when we get written up, it's 100% innocent. I went through, Northern California, and I just wanted to grab a few bottles of wine to take home for Christmas gifts for my family. And now I've gotten written up with a violation. You cannot do that. Ship it home, ship it to whoever you want to ship it to. Please do not put it into the cab of the truck. So,
Okay. We're ready to move on to some speakers this morning.
hey, let's keep rolling on to the speakers. Who's the first person we got?
Okay. We are going to bring up from Command Health, Dr. Van Kirk. I see you over there. Good morning.
So this is Dr. Luke Van Kirk with Command Health. Let's give him a round of applause. Good morning.
Morning, guys. So a couple things. First, I want to introduce, we have Dr. Nicole Norgard has started at the clinic. She's been with us for about a month now, but she's open accepting patients. And so if you guys looking to establish care with us, she's available. Also want to keep it, sure, okay. I wanted to remind you guys, if you're coming in through Springfield, get your cameras installed on your truck and you're getting close to maybe your DOT expiring. Be an easy time while you're in town to pop down, see us. We got a good price, $85 for a DOT. And also, if our membership program that we have, if you're signing up for that, it includes a DOT physical. So you could knock two birds out with one stone, and we can give you get some good care for you available while you're out on the road. So we look forward to taking care of you guys.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Luke. We're rolling pretty quick, John. We're just a quarter way through the hour. What do we got up next?
All right. We're going to bring Alex from Logs up. Alex is a fairly new associate, but I think he's spoken up here more times than about anybody in the log department. So that's very, very impressive. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thank you. There we go. All right. So it looks like today might be one of those days we're talking about log violations and inspections. because that's that's what I'm going to go over today. We are doing really good at them. We are passing. I think last week it was about 70+%, and we've kind of been trending around those numbers. So it's not so much the log violations, but things we can do to avoid them while we're on the road. So let's see. This is a list of log violations we've had in the past week. So we've had a record of duty status violation for the bill of lading. Now our system should automatically update, but it does happen sometimes where it doesn't update or there's a delay on it. It takes a few minutes to check the bill of lading either on the Qualcomm or on the GeoTab. On the GeoTab, you can check your dispatch, verify those documents match. Same thing with the paper documents that you get before you leave your 90 or 01, just to verify that they're accurate, because they are checking those and we do get violations for that. Next is we have a driver that ended up not having enough paper logs. So it looks like they had their logbook with them, but the requirement through a DOT inspection is that you have enough pages to do a full work week, so 8 days available on those graphs. So if you've used your logbook at all, you may want to check to verify you have 8 days available, so that if you do get checked, even if you have the logbook, that you are still compliant with that rule. Now, the logbooks are available through Prime terminals. You can also get them at truck stops. If you get a logbook through a truck stop, please verify that the malfunction and instruction sheets are in the book. So when they do a check, it's the logbook. Sometimes they'll do an ELD manual, but they also check malfunction sheets. So that's the sheet in the logbook explaining what the malfunctions are and how to fix those, as well as the instruction book for how to do certain things in the unit that you have in the truck. So logbook, malfunction sheet, and the instruction sheet. Now, if you get one from a truck stop and they don't have those in there and you don't transplant them, you can contact logs and we're just happy to email them to you. We have them available that way too. Let's see. Okay. We have also had a driver, well, 2 drivers actually this past week, get failed inspections for not certifying logs. I know that sometimes we're in certain places or their normal routes and they may not check them, but it just takes one officer to look at those, verify that they're not actually certified, and then we get written up for them. They can do it per day. We got lucky with this one where they just kind of bundled them up into one. So it was 8 of 8 days not certified, but the officer was nice enough to kind of just put it as one single violation. So that saved us quite a few points on that one. And then the last one is the hours of service clocks. So we go through this in the class, and I do recommend taking it. We have an updated GeoTab log training that goes through both the GeoTab as well as how to do logging on the new unit. But the same thing applies whether you're on the GeoTab or Qualcomm. We have those 11 and 14 hours to drive and also work. And if we do split breaks, sometimes we don't do sleeper berth, causes a violation. But the point is, if you can today, or set it so that you do it weekly, check your Prime app. You go to My Prime app, hours of service, and you can see if you have any violations. If you have any violations, contact your log advisor. Anything within the past few weeks, past month. If we can try to fix it for you, it just increases the chances of us not getting violations for something that we could fix prior. We don't want to find out that we didn't do something like put in sleeper and then it's something that we could have fixed and avoided a violation altogether. So I guess it just means that we should be contacting your log advisor, keep in check with them. I have log advisors that get frequent calls from drivers asking them to verify their logs, go through them. We should be having that communication because it is an important aspect of being on the road. Normally I'll add in comments from last videos, but we don't have any. So if you have any questions, you can ask, or you can call your log advisor. If you put a comment in, we do try to reply to those. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we've gone through today?
All right, thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to bring up Colby and Rachel next with our driver health and fitness department. And I think he needs you as a volunteer up here, right?
Respectfully decline.
Yeah, no, don't say that, Dennis. Hey, good morning, everybody. So I'm Colby with our driver health and fitness. This is Rachel, our on-site dietitian. Real quick, though, I want to go back to, before we get into our health tip, I want to talk about like something that John and Dennis were talking about that I think about from our department. We always talk about, but a lot of things is like respect. You guys having respect for yourself, everybody respecting for themselves. Anything from hygiene to health to fitness, nutrition, but further than that, your safety, right? Your seatbelt, those kinds of things, these violations, having respect for yourself is what this comes down to, right? And I'm not going down a rabbit hole. That's something passionate I was thinking about over there for all of you, is that like, that's why safety is important. That's why this is important for each one of you, to have respect for yourself, to do the right thing and to be safe. Okay. So that's my soapbox. But that kind of goes into what we talk about, right? So we talk about our health tips. And so we have our Driver Health and Fitness. We have our own YouTube channel, and our YouTube channel is where we land a lot of our things. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. Anybody show of hands? Anybody been on our YouTube channel? Use it some? There's a few hands. Okay. So our YouTube channel it's hard. It's Prime Driver Health Fitness 3021. But on it, Rachel, I have one of our exercise piece of equipment, our Max Pro. But Rachel, what's on it? What can you find on our YouTube? I'm going to get it out and show people, but go ahead.
Yeah, so on the YouTube, the best way I would say to navigate it is go to playlists. So if you click on playlists, that will pull up a bunch of things, a couple on there that I really encourage people to take a look at. And that especially while you are in training or while you are teaming, is go into our Fit in 15 playlist, because that one has follow along workouts that you can do either in or out of the truck. So that are about 15 to 20 minute long workouts they're strength based, right? They're designed to like get your muscles moving, get your heart rate up, but they're going to build some muscle for it. So I would, just go on playlists on all of that. We have some cooking videos on there too. We try to put those on our social media as well. I see someone over here. Chris, do you do any of what videos do you watch on there?
A lot of
Watch the exercise ones.
Very good. Okay. So Rachel, let me jump in real quick while I have it. So I pulled out, you can stay here, John. We don't bite. So this is our Max Pro we have. We sell at all of our company stores. So this is a way of adding cable resistance training on the road or over the road or any out in public places like that. So this device, literally you can unfold, stand on it, and it's got cable resistance training in a lot of ways, right? So it's got 10 feet on each side. You saw how I folded it up. I was going to have Dennis do it, but do me a favor. Will you stand on top, put your heels on it, and just use it? Because you exercise every day, right? There you go. So you can see you can adjust it just like that. So you can add weights in any way. It's a way to add cable resistance training. Again, we sell it in every company store, but I just wanted people, a lot of our workout, we got exercise videos up there on our YouTube. But again, this is what I wanted, and I wanted you to be my guinea pig. So, but has anybody in here utilized a Max Pro before? I know we have other people that have them. Again, these are exercise videos, like Rachel said, on our YouTube channel. I encourage you guys to get on it. That's where we land a lot of our, all of our information that can be helpful to you guys. So, any questions for us while we're up here, or we'll always be to the side too. So, anything? All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Hold on. Oh, we got a question. Come on.
How much does one of those cost?
Yeah, so good question. In our company store, I think they're like just a little over $500. We have about half. It's about half price here. And I have actually on it. We have a podcast that I've had the owner podcast also, and he shares the same passion we do for getting access to you guys. So that's something we buy and sell directly from here at that cost. So we don't. It's accrued directly to you. So yeah, good question. Okay, there you go. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Dennis, I don't know what 100 means that the arrow's on there that I was lifting, but is that pounds?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Who do we got next this morning?
All right, so next we probably got one of the most energetic speakers, and we probably need it this morning. I can feel the vibe in the room. You know, one of the most energetic speakers that we ever have any week. It's Audra Hill from our payroll department. She's got on her I Love Prime Driver shirt. So good morning, Audra.
Morning. Who gets it? We don't get to say very often that John Harden is wrong, but this morning he was wrong because payroll is here. And he did take my talking point about payroll cutoff. We'll forgive him now. So happy Friday. So great to be here. Happy payroll day. Thanksgiving is coming up. That is correct. Well, first and foremost, thank you for everything that you guys do every single day. We are super grateful that you guys just continue to make us so successful here. I was told that Thanksgiving was going to be on a Thursday this year. again. So we do have to change payroll cutoff to Tuesday, November 26th. So we're gonna move it up one day. It's still gonna be at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Payroll is gonna be here on Wednesday to audit your payroll. And then Friday, we're gonna just run just like normal because payroll is gonna be out on Thursday. So Friday, we're gonna come in, do everything just like normal. If you get paid on your Comdata card, that will be early Friday morning. If you get paid direct deposit, we're gonna send it, so it'll still be in your bank account at the end of day, so 5 p.m. or later. And just speaking of holidays, for you lease operators, it's a really, really, really good idea. If you don't have an emergency fund, let's go ahead and get that set up. You can do that through the Prime app. It's under My Progress, and then you can choose a cent per mile rate. You can choose a percentage based off the revenue. You can choose a flat dollar amount. So it's really versatile, but it's really there to make it easy on you guys for when you go home for the holidays, when you have invoices or anything like that. So it is designed to make sure that you guys are set up for success. So if you don't have one, really, really think and consider getting one, stockpiling some money in there. Excuse me, I talk too fast, so I get all winded. So for those who already have one, for you lease operators, you know, you guys can always hit up your payroll person. I have a lot of my guys, when they are about to go home, they'll just message me and say, hey, I had a great week. Go ahead, throw $500 extra in there. You guys can always do that. So it's really there to make sure that you are planning ahead. And more often than not, the lease operators who have an emergency fund, who are planning ahead, who don't have to work out their negative, you know, when they go home and come out and work against themselves, typically tend to be more successful. I think that's it. Any questions? Nobody? Come on. A question? All right. What?
One in Piston. Got one in Piston.
Yes, have a great holiday.
Yeah, one in Pittston.
Hey, I'm right here. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning.
Sorry. I wanted to ask what the interest rate on that was.
Great question. So it does. So your performance bond, your e-fund, and your current tire fund all accumulate interest. We pay that out to your settlement every single week. It's actually a really, really competitive interest rate. We look at a national average pretty much. And so for most of this year, it's been over 5%. So we don't pay that interest back into that account. We just pay it on your settlement. So you'll get your week pay, then we add your interest in whatever that total amounts are for those accounts. And then that's included with your payroll. But it is actually really competitive.
Okay.
That was a great question. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you, Audra. All right, so Audra brought a little bit of energy back into the room, so we're going to bring a little bit more. We're going to bring Chris Martin up. He runs our driver development program. So good morning, Chris. Tell us what you got for us.
Good morning, I'm Mr. Energy. All right, well, I'm Chris Martin. Thanks for your time. I work in our training department in the refrigerated division. And usually when I get up here, I'm telling people a lot of things they've already heard before, but we need to keep reminding you, okay? So let's start with this. Let's talk about who can train, okay? So let's say that you're out there, you're not a trainer right now, okay? But you're thinking to yourself, you know, I really like what I'm doing here, and somebody else made the sacrifice to get me in this truck. I do a pretty good job. I think I want to help somebody else get their own truck, right? Okay, but you're asking the question, can I train? So who can train? So let's talk about that just a second, okay? So if you want to be a trainer, that conversation, it first starts with your fleet manager, right? Okay, so talk to your fleet manager about it, but who needs to approve you? The safety department needs to approve you, okay? Your safety record's important. The logs department would need to approve you. The training department would need to approve you. And like we said, your fleet manager would need to approve you. So we want to see, before we let anybody train, that they're safe, they deliver on time, they're profitable, they're doing all the things we need to do to provide good customer service. How long do I have to drive before I can train though? Okay, 6 months with a CDL, okay, and 60 days in my own truck if I want to be a TNT trainer, okay? If I want to participate in the PSD, if I want to take out students with a permit, 2 years, okay? Anybody have any questions on that? Nothing, okay. Pretty clear. And if you forget that, ask your fleet manager. You know, when I was a fleet manager and I had a new driver get into a truck, one of the first things we talked about was, here's when you'll qualify to train. And we set that date as a target, okay? Let's talk next about when should you train? When is a good time to train, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, like, right now is the best time to do it, okay? And here's why. A few reasons. First of all, we've got a lot of trainees out there right now. Some are at the terminal, some are at their house, but they're waiting for a trainer, okay? I've got male and female smokers, non-smokers, and vapors. Again, I've got people here, people at the house. I've got a lot of people right now who wanted to do this bad enough that they started it during the holidays that are looking for a good trainer, okay? Another good reason that now would be the time, okay? So if you're thinking that you might want to do any kind of training in the early part of next year, okay? So you picture yourself with the trainee early next year. I want you to be thinking right now is the time that I need to get that new person on my truck, okay? What happens after the first of the year? A couple things get tougher. The freight gets a little bit tougher, okay? The weather gets a little bit worse, right? After the first of the year. So who do I want on that truck with me? I want somebody that's already got some experience, some stamina, somebody that I've already built up a trust with. They know me and they know our truck and they know how we do things at Prime. So now is the time to establish that. I pick somebody up now. I've got a month left before the end of the year, before Christmas, okay? And we work on skill and stamina. That's the person I want in my truck at the beginning of the year. I don't want to come into the start of the year and pick a brand new person up. And while I'm trying to go through the first week or two of training, okay, the toughest part of the training, we're also, again, contending with maybe worse weather, a little bit tougher freight, okay? So now is the time. Last thing I want to talk about, everybody else is talking about GeoTab. I'm going to talk a little bit about GeoTab. And here's who I need to hear this. If you are a TNT trainer, okay, you're already a trainer, but you don't have GeoTab yet. You don't have a GeoTab on your truck, okay? If you get offered a trainee, the first thing you need to ask that fleet manager, and you can ask that trainee too, is has that trainee worked on a GeoTab, okay? Because once you're GeoTab, you're always GeoTab. So if I'm a trainer and I don't have GeoTab and I pick up somebody who has, then that person is just a passenger, okay? They can't work. So if I'm a trainer and I get offered somebody and they have GeoTab and I don't, okay, I know I need to get someplace to get it installed before I pick that trainee up, okay? Any questions on that part? Nope. I guess the last thing I'll talk about real quick, if there's no questions here, is, you know, every time I look at Steve Wutke, I think, you know, and I tell him every time, he's the best dressed guy at Prime. He toned it down a little bit today. Always looking sharp and clean. You know, in the training department, it's that much bigger of a deal that we're clean, the truck is clean, the people are clean. When I was a fleet manager and even now in the training department, you know, one of the biggest complaints I got from drivers, and I think it was a valid complaint, was we don't always get the respect we deserve at a customer, okay? Or I can't get that person in the truck with me to listen to me as much as I would want. And I'm going to tell you that a lot of that starts with your presentation, how you look, how you smell, how you talk, be a professional. And maybe the easiest part of that is just staying clean, right? Getting our showers, keeping the truck clean, little things you do every day that become a habit to keep things clean in the truck and to make a good presentation when you go into a customer. There's a lot of showers out there. There's a lot of free showers to be had at these truck stops. You just got to make it a priority. Okay. And again, the training department in particular, I mean, that's one of the biggest concerns of every trainee is that they get on a clean truck. All right.
Let's stay on that topic, Chris.
Okay.
You know, because I think we may have a question or comment.
Yes.
So thank you. Two things. First of all, I want to appeal to our women drivers as far as training is concerned. We turn away 30% of the women that want to come here and train because there's no woman trainer. Some of you have the passion for it and you're just really afraid because you know you're coming into winter time. And, you know, I just want to really appeal to our women drivers to just step up and get out of your comfort zone. This is how we grow as a company. You have the skill sets that student needs to be successful. You've already gone through a couple of winters. If you're training a PSD, don't stop having that desire to help somebody else to succeed. A quick question for you, Chris. On TikTok, I get a lot of requests. People asking me, am I a trainer? Students or those who are willing to come to the training program, they're telling me that they are supposed to look for a trainer before they come here. Is that true?
Do you mean before they're ever hired?
Before they get here.
Before they come in?
And they have to find their own trainer.
Okay, well, we'll find a trainer for you. You don't have to find a trainer. There are situations, again, unfortunately, like if I've got a list of 15 female trainees that don't have a trainer yet, I mean, that 15 is bad. I'm also thinking about all the other great candidates that couldn't even be on that list because like Dee said, we don't have enough folks to train all of our females. But I think there are times when we tell someone, hey, if we don't have the right trainer for you right now to bring you in here, if you talk to someone at Prime that is a trainer and they would agree to train you, then yes, we can arrange that. But once you get to Prime, we want to use our normal pairing process to match up with the trainer. Okay, so we're looking at gender requirements and smoking requirements and the core value surveys that you take and where you live at. So there's a number of factors. We definitely don't want to get done with the Friday meeting and mingle through the cafe and look for a trainer. That's not what we're looking for, but does that answer your question? Kind of? Okay.
What I'm implying is these are people who want to come to train to Prime. They're not even here yet. They're telling me that they were told they have to find their own trainers in order to process the application to come.
That's not our process, but I would say that if that happened, that's perfectly fine. But that's not a burden we're going to put on a new applicant, is that they have to find a trainer before they ever come to Prime. No. Yes.
Just to piggyback off Ms. D, that's what happened to me. I couldn't even come to orientation or process my application until I found my own TNT trainer.
And again, and unfortunately, yeah, and I'd say some of our female applicants that are great applicants, and we have to look and say, do we have the resources to, because the last thing we want to do is bring you in here and not be able to train you or put you to work, right? We don't want to waste your time. So we want to get you in here when it's the right time. But yeah, we have told people before, yeah, if there is somebody that you find that will train you when you get here, then let's do that. So I'm glad we did that with you. You found somebody that was.
Oh, I had to. I couldn't come to school at all. They wouldn't process it.
I think if I'm listening to that, I mean, again, if I'm somebody who can train a female right now, I mean, I've got to hear that and say, I could help out. Somebody help me get in a truck. I need to help her get in a truck.
Hey, Chris. So I'm curious, this is saying I work in the training department as well. Who's telling you you have to find your own trainer?
Oh, my recruiter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just going to tell you kind of how that goes, Stan, is yes, you're a good applicant. We'd love to have you in here right now. We don't have the resources to get you in. But if you talk to someone that is a trainer here that can get you on the road now, we'll get you on in here. Yeah. Is that, we got one more here.
Yeah, regarding the training, so if you're a lease contractor, what's the shortest term of the lease where you can train? Like if you have a 6-month, 8-month lease?
Any of those timeframes would work. I mean, I can't imagine you'd have a lease that was so short that you couldn't participate in some phase of the training process. And we have folks sometimes that have a trainee and their lease ends and they've got another truck ready to go. There's a little bit of transition period here at the yard, but we can continue with that trainee sometimes.
All right, Chris, before you get out of here, one thing I do want to talk about, you know, my guys in the safety department, we always get calls or visits from folks that are upgrading. So they've completed their TNT phase, but they want to talk about, you know, make some complaints about their trainer. Okay. So one, let me say this, by and large, all our trainers are pretty solid. They're not perfect by any means. And that's not really what the expectation is, but by and large, our trainers are pretty solid. Do we get a bad apple from time to time? Sure. And that just gives us the opportunity to go and coach and fix whatever challenges that particular trainer and trainee may have. But one of the things that we get from time to time is something you talked about, man, my trainer's truck wasn't as sanitary as I would have liked for it to be. And you know, always the first question that we ask is, well, we apologize that they had to go through that experience. You know, did you communicate that to anybody? And I bet you everybody in this room can tell us what that answer is. It's always, no, I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to get in trouble. I just wanted to get through my training process. You know, I didn't want to prolong anything I had going on. And look, you know, everything is about perspective. I can understand that perspective, you know, but from folks like Chris Martin or our fleet manager team or Stan Casterkey, you know, it's important that you give these folks the opportunity to fix that situation. All right. If they don't know that it's a problem in your particular case, it's virtually impossible for them to fix it. So you want to talk about that here real quick?
Sure. And we talk about that a lot. And, you know, I go to orientation on Tuesday and Thursday and talk to people who are coming in with a permit. I talk to the trainer class on Tuesday. And we talk about communicating with the fleet manager and basically tell them, hey, if you remember one thing from what I talk about, that's the most important thing, is at least once a week, let's communicate with that fleet manager and then make sure you're telling them the things that they need to hear. Okay, if you're a trainee and you're a trainer too, we want the trainers talking on a weekly basis to the fleet manager about how that training's going. And they don't have to be long conversations. Okay, and I know it's tough to get a hold of a fleet manager. We talk to the new people about, you know, you might call and nobody answers, but we gotta keep trying. We send a message and say, when can you call me back? When can I call you back? But we've got to talk to the fleet manager once a week as a trainee. And they want to know, in orientation this week on Thursday, I had one of our tanker fleet managers down there. Her name's Clara. And when I got done, Clara had one thing she wanted to say to the class. And the one thing she wanted to say is, hey, if there are issues out there, I want to know what's going on. We want to know, the fleet managers need to know what's happening. And typically, if there is a big problem, if there's a big problem that we're talking about, it was a small problem at one point. It was a lot easier to fix at one point. But if we have an issue out there and we don't do anything about it, it only gets worse. Okay. So most of these situations, if we can hear about them early, then we can take care of them pretty fast. But yeah, it's sad sometimes when we hear a complaint and we're hearing about it after the training is done. You know, the goal is for you to get better driving a truck and for the trainer to get better at being a trainer, right? So we want the opportunity to coach people up and get them better. And your feedback as a trainee is going to help us do that.
All right, Chris, I really appreciate it. You got a few more questions than we thought you were going to get, but that's okay.
All right.
You're here to help.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Tom. Let's
you.
give him a round of applause. All right, John, what do we got next?
All right, good discussion there. So we're going to bring up Trent, our maintenance department, Trent Ferris. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thank you. Yeah, so we've been rolling really good the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, we had Peterbilt. Last week, we had Freightliner. Want to keep that going. So I brought up International this morning. This is Chad. He works over at Rush Truck Centers and handles all of our international trucks. So go ahead, Chad.
You bet. Good morning, guys. I am your on-site international rep. I do sit on the main floor of the Z building right over by Success Leasing, right over by the rest of your on-site vendor reps, right? You got a pile of them that are here every day for you guys, and that's why we're here. So we're here, we're available, and we're happy to help. So a couple things I wanted to touch on, of course, is dealership visits this time of year, right? So everybody might be thinking about going home for a little bit, spend some time with your family, and you think it might be a good time to drop a truck off at the dealership to get some work done. So I'm going to tell you to be very leery of that. If the truck will run, let's run it. We've really got about a month and a half of holidays coming up. So there's going to be a lot of folks at a lot of dealerships that are looking to take those year-end vacations, use up other PTO time that they have remaining. So over the next 6 weeks, dealerships are going to be very shorthanded. So it's going to be even worse if you drop the keys off and say, hey, I'm on home time. Well, then that automatically gets shuffled to the back, right? So my tip is if the truck will run it. Let's look at getting it in after the first of the year, if possible. Now, there's always extenuating circumstances where you might not be able to do that. So just keep in mind that it's going to be shorthanded at every dealership, every repair facility across the country, starting real quick. So just keep that in mind. And then I've got some exciting news, what I think is exciting news, right? So we've signed a truck deal. So we will be building and delivering new trucks from International starting in January and February. So what's exciting about it is this truck is unlike anything we've ever offered. This is brand new equipment, brand new technology, cutting edge. I wouldn't even say cutting edge. This is bleeding edge technology that we've got in these trucks. So much so that one of my counterparts from another OEM that sits back here with us is hoping it really does what it's supposed to do, so that way his OEM will borrow some of that technology to use on their own. So the improvements that we've made, we've removed a lot of failure points and friction points within the truck for you all, okay? Some of the interior improvements, just the design of the truck, were made at the suggestion of you, okay? We had an engineer come to our dealership. We had a group of people come over and look at a previous model, the 2020 model, and they told us what they wanted changed. And we've changed those things. Engineers took that back to International. They made those changes. So now we've got a fold away top bunk for those of you that like that thought our fixed top bunk may have took up too much room in the sleeper. So now you can fold that top bunk up and out of the way. We've made just creature comfort changes. You know, we've closed up all the air gaps on the truck, really sucked the truck up closer to the trailer. You know, aerodynamics are huge, but the real exciting stuff is what we've done with our engine and transmission. So our engine is now an S13. It's our captive engine. It's a 13-liter engine. And it's been designed with efficiency and power in mind, right? They really found the balance between those two. So the failure points we've removed on that, and this is going to be big stuff for all of you that know and have had these types of failures in the past, but EGR coolers, we all know what EGR coolers are. This truck doesn't have one. Okay. And going forward, the model that is being built for you all that will be delivered early next year, no EGR valve either. Right. So we're not shoving any dirty air down the throat of this engine. Okay. No variable turbo. Our turbo is very simple. It's fixed geometry. There's no electronics to go wrong on it. So uptime is paramount, right? That's what we're doing. Through our new ownership at International, we have had some very good redesigns. We think it's going to be industry changing, right? Earth shattering stuff. But here's the biggest one: fuel economy. We really, really are going to hang our hat on that hook of fuel economy. We have 2 units in the fleet running on test status right now, and they are averaging 9.5 miles a gallon. Averaging. Some days it's a lot better, some days maybe not so much, depending on load and driving habits, right? We all want to think about driving habits. But so unscripted, they don't know I'm doing this, but Buddy, Jamie, would you guys come up here for a minute? You all are probably familiar with Buddy and Jamie, especially if you keep track of any of the truck driving championship stuff. Buddy and Jamie have been around here quite a while driving. So Buddy and Jamie were kind enough to volunteer to be one of our test subjects in this new truck. So Jamie, you and I have had some conversations about it.
Yes,
So when I said fuel mileage and power,
definitely.
we're getting both of those.
Yes.
Okay, so you told me, it's been a while, but you told me about a load that you had. It was a pretty light load. It was only 19 or 20,000 in the box, and you guys were going about 600 or 700 miles with it. Do you recall what you told me the fuel mileage was on that trip?
I think it was at 10.9 to 11.
11 miles a gallon.
Yep.
And I'm going to say it, we talk about good driving habits, but I can guarantee you when these two are in the driver's seat,
It's totally opposite of driving habits.
that truck's running against the governor every time.
Yes.
So we're averaging 9.5 as it is right now. You guys are getting great fuel mileage. You also told me you had a good size load going up Mont Eagle not long ago.
Yes.
Tell me about that trip up Mont Eagle with your truck.
I was able to keep it at 12th gear, doing 45, passing most heavy haulers going up that hill.
So there we go, guys. Efficiency and power. That's what we're about right now. Buddy, give me just your 30,000 foot brief overview of the truck.
Oh, I love the new engine. It's performing like they said it would. Fuel mileage is great. It's higher than any of the fleet trucks that we have. I've got no complaints, so I'm just waiting until we get it in full force. Because I want one when we turn this one back in.
Actually, Chad, I can add to it is the last 4 loads we've had, we've been nothing but tail heavy. I mean, it's more heavy on the end of our trailers. Going up hills and everything, I'm still pulling my 9.5s to high 10s.
So there we are. So like I said, we're going to have a group of these delivering early next year. So all I can ask, just take a look. If you have the option, just take a look. So I think we might have a question.
Okay, good morning. My question is, I noticed all the prime truck for company is mostly Freightliners. Now you talk a very good story. Is Freightlines going to be on that ship sailing with us with the international, or are we just going to keep on being in the same Freightliner?
You know, I work specifically for international, so I don't have an answer for you on what Freightliners got coming and going.
So make a deal with Prime to get some of that international so we can know what you're feeling out there.
They're coming. There's a deal signed. They'll be here at the first of the year.
All right, sounds good.
So I was just curious, it's a fixed vane turbo. Is that a single turbo? Is there like a compounded or bi-turbo kind of setup, the single?
It is single stage.
Okay.
Single turbo. It is waste gated, but no electronics.
Okay, cool. That's, I'll do more looking into that. It's interesting.
You bet. So that's all I got. I know we're kind of probably running short on time. Trent still has to talk about what he's got going on. So I will be around after the meeting. And again, if you need us, all of us reps are up in the Z building. Thank you all.
And we're going to cut it there this week. We're running short on time. So I just want to say thank you all for what you do. I appreciate you. Stay safe this weekend and stay safe over the holiday. Thank you.
All right, let's give those guys a round of applause. Thank you guys so much. And we're gonna really keep it rolling here. We always like to have a fleet manager here. We're blessed to have one with what did you say? 27 years of experience here at Prime as a fleet manager. Some of you guys aren't 27 years old that are coming through here. So sorry to make you feel old, but this is Chance Dukewits in our reefer department. Good morning, Chance.
Good morning. I want to thank everybody for being here. Dennis, thanks for kind of pointing out my age there and how long I've been. I got a few operational topics I want to talk about. The first is
OTIF. And I don't know if everybody knows what OTIF means, but it's on time in full. It's one of our customers. Walmart specifies in their fulfillment program, pretty much that we have to arrive on time. And there's a couple of those. They don't want us arriving more than an hour before the appointment. And then if it's a drop and hook, make sure we deliver it on the day of that appointment. And, we've really gained a competitive market edge against our competition by doing this. And it's thanks to all of you and the service you provide. We always need to tip it up a notch if we can. So just keep that in mind. And if you have a question, if a load is an OTIF load or on time in full load, ask your fleet manager, because I ask all the time. Don't get confused. If I don't know, I'll ask sales, hey, is this an OTIF load? So the best thing is ask if you have a question. We kind of touched about it. The holidays are coming up. I don't know if y'all know, but it's like 3 short weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And those are short weeks. They'll go fast. Next Thursday's Thanksgiving. So plan your time, get with your fleet manager. You also have weather, mechanical, we're talking shop time. Those things you may not expect. We don't expect a snowstorm right after Thanksgiving. It could happen. So watch your time at Thanksgiving, pardon me, and at Christmas. I'm a piggyback off Audra. She talked about the emergency fund or E-fund. Definitely get with your fleet manager or payroll. It's easy to set up. It's you can opt in, you can opt out, change the amount. Let's see. One thing I tell my drivers to kind of keep it simple is, simple math. If you did $20 a week for 50 weeks, that's $1,000. It's not a lot of money, but it really is a lot of money. So that's an easy way to get in. Try it. If you like it, continue it. You can use it for, like a truck payment or other things like an emergency. It's emergency fund, kind of the old, I think it's like the Christmas Club account. That's what it is. Or you can leave it in there, let it grow, and believe it or not, it will grow. Let's see. Am I boring everybody to death yet? I want to talk about dropping trailers, especially before you go home or during home time. Make sure that you get with your fleet manager. We'd like to drop them at customers where they can be utilized. We don't want to drop them in the unsecure area where they can get towed, stolen, or vandalized. That's every year. You talk to safety. They get phone calls that are like, hey, we're going to tow this trailer or this truck. You don't want that. Just get with your fleet manager. Let's put them at a customer that can utilize them. And I think that's about all. I want to thank you all for your time, and Dennis, hand it back over to Dennis.
All right. So thank you, Chance. 27 years of experience and knowledge, 27th holiday season as a fleet manager, which is always tough. So appreciate what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So hopefully Chance will, and a lot of our other speakers will be hanging out for just a few minutes after the meeting. So if you have a question for them or you want to talk to them about something that you didn't want to jump on the microphone, feel free, as John said earlier, talk to somebody, with the microphone in their hand and get the answers to the questions you may have. So, I do want to talk about the GeoTab and the Netradyne technology just for a little bit as we bring our final speakers on. So, a lot of you that have the technology may have noticed that the inward portion, and probably got our message that we were kind of tweaking the settings on the inward facing camera a little bit. I think we've got pretty much where we want to get. Probably at the start of next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, we'll kick those back on. So, and it's a working process. It's still not perfect. We'll probably be making some more tweaks to make sure that, one, we're getting the information we want, and two, we're as efficient as we can be on this end from a fleet manager and safety department standpoint. So, the next part is, Chance talked about there's a short 3 weeks between Thanksgiving, which is next Thursday, and Christmas. So, from a, broad standpoint, basically the year's about over. You got a few weeks left. Probably you'll spend a little bit of time at home, which I think is great. But then it's basically the year's over. So we're up against a little bit of a time crunch. So it's important that folks that don't already have a plan to get the new technology installed, get a plan in place. All right. And folks on the yard, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure to you. We don't want you to leave the yard without the technology already installed. And that's across the board at all of our locations. If it's a situation where we don't have the capacity to get you in, we're going to ask you to leave with an appointment. If you already have an appointment scheduled, if you tell us, hey, my appointment is December 3rd, awesome, great. We'll see you on December 3rd. But for those folks that are undecided or are kind of just trying to wait it out, unfortunately, that time has come to an end. It's time to make a decision, to make a plan. Please make sure that you're communicating with your fleet manager. And I'll say that again. Please make sure that you're communicating with your fleet manager. We've been talking about this for, a number of months now. So we're here at that point. So if you have any questions, John and I will be hanging out back here. If you have any technology specific questions, we got the experts over here, Richard and Brienne, that can answer your technology specific questions. So, coming down to the end of the meeting, appreciate Audra and Chris kind of bringing some energy back into the room. That's always great. This is Thanksgiving week, the last meeting before Thanksgiving. So if you're out running, thank you so much for what you do. I promise you that so many families that are enjoying Thanksgiving dinner and Thanksgiving celebrations together appreciate what you guys do, specifically you folks that are carrying the food and foodstuffs that provide those meals for us. If you're choosing to stay out and run, of course, first and foremost, we want you to be safe. The highways and byways will be terribly packed over the next couple of weeks, so please be careful. Please be on heightened alert. Thank you for what you do. So, of course, during the holiday times, you also have to remember the folks that are deployed, that are defending our freedom in various parts of the world. We were red, or at least red adjacent sometimes. So that's RED, remember everyone deployed. So if you served in uniform, defended our freedom, our armed services, if you would, just stand for a quick moment and give us an opportunity to honor you. Thank you guys so much. Steve Wutke, come on up here.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Appreciate it.
We need some energy today. What you got for us?
Well, that was a nice presentation, that international deal. Got some competition back there, fellas. Have to crank it up a little bit, I believe. I don't know. I like it. I know when you get 10 miles a gallon, it's pretty good on the fuel surcharge programs that we have in place. And that's a winner. And as you all know, the marketplace has been a little bit challenging. And when you can drag a couple $100 out on the fuel surcharge deal, that's a winner again. So, and Chris, I want to thank you for the comments you made. Personal hygiene is important to all of us. My story is, I don't want to bore you all, but I grew up back in the 50s. That's a long time ago. And I had two older brothers. One was 4 years older, one was 2 years older. So I always got hand-me-downs. And sometimes my hand-me-downs, my jeans, I had to roll them up because my brothers were bigger than me. Sometimes my mom had to patch them because those suckers were on their knees fighting and scrapping all the time. But I ended up wearing them. So over the course of growing up in a very modest family, modest income family, I just decided someday I'm not going to have to wear secondhand clothes. So I try to stay ahead of the power curve. Plus, I'm representing the very best company in this country, you all. And I want to look the very best. I want to show out for you all when I talk to our customers. I want to earn their respect, just like you all do, by delivering on time. And Chris talked about OTIF, and on time in full is really important. We've been able to grow our load count in a down market because of the service you give. It's made a terrific difference. A lot of companies cannot do what you all do. So we're very, very blessed in that way. You all are the best sales team we got. And we've got some really good sales guys in here, and they're working their tails off, but nobody does it better than you all. You're the differentiator in our company, and don't think we don't know it. So you new folks that are joining us, the bar's set pretty high. You got to come in here and you got to be ready, willing, and able to perform on time and be ready to go. It's a tough job. It's a tough challenge, but we've had a ton of success. The best fleet out there. I'm proud to be a part of it. I thank you very much. We're up about 50 loads week over week. You know, we think that the rest of this week and next week, the early part of the week is going to be pretty busy. I hope you all get where you want to be, and appreciate you if you choose to stay out and run. I think we'll have freight to keep you busy. But mainly, I want you to be safe, and I want you to get where you want to be. That's important to us. We care about our drivers. We care about your health and wellness, and certainly care about your earnings. So I thank you very much. I'm going to bring Darrell or Robert or both of you up here if you all want to chat just a little bit. One thing we're seeing in bid season right now is we're seeing inflation back to the rate side. You know, we're going through a bunch of business in the bid cycle, and we're able at this point to move rates up for y'all. That's our goal. You know, it's not where the puck is, it's where the puck's going to be. So a lot of these contracts go into place in March and April of next year. So we're predicting everything we're seeing, everything we're feeling, everything we're reading is going to be big demand. So we're going to keep pressure on the rate side, try to make y'all a little bit more money. That's our goal. Darrell?
I really only have one thing I wanted to mention, because I think there's a lot of information flying around out there. I can't even call them rumors because there's truth to it. So, but some of you may have heard that we are, and I'm not sure how it's worded out there, whether it's worded that we're buying somebody, joining with somebody, or what it is. But the truth is that we've had a lot of conversations with a company that historically has been a competitor, good company, Trans Am, and they have, much like every company, have been going through a pretty tough market. We've all been fighting through this freight market, and they've kind of evaluated things and determined that it's a good decision for them to maybe start to team up or partner with us. So they're looking to come in through our power only fleet. Now I want to make something really clear right off the bat. We have said, and we stand by this every day, that our first priority is to make sure that we keep revenue to your truck, that we keep your truck loaded and your truck filled, and we keep you guys running. So this is being done very strategically with them to be a win-win. Our sales team has been out there meeting with their customers, which many are our customers, but they have different lanes.
That's really the point that I think is maybe missed. Not only are we thinking about bringing trucks over, but we're bringing volume, freight with them at our rate structure. So it's not like we're going to compromise our existing business. We're going to actually add to it as we bring trucks over.
And that's really what we're doing. As we secure the freight, then we'll bring on the appropriate number of trucks, but we don't just bring on a bunch of trucks with no freight. We won't do that. That's not how we operate. We want it to be a win-win for both sides. It wouldn't be a win for them either if we did that. And so, you know, we're all working together. At the end of the day, we should be even a larger company that can effectively have more buying power on fuel, on products, on everything that we can bring to you guys to help make you more efficient, to make you more profitable. But we won't do it at the sacrifice of revenue per truck. I promise you that. So with that, I'll let the chief kind of take it from there, but wanted to get that in front of everybody. So if you got questions, we'll answer anything.
Well said. Explained very well. The key is we have a question from this young lady right here.
I just wanted to kind of piggyback off what this gentleman right here was saying, but I think that's what the common misconception was about the rumor about the partnership is that people thought that they were going to be losing revenue with their existing trucks. So I think that's what kind of was scaring everybody.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's a common mistake in this industry. Trucking companies outgrow their ability to load their trucks, so everybody gets diluted down. You know, I learned that a long time ago. I learned it the hard way. You don't do that. It's a kiss of death. They are bringing their own business. Some that we might have shared with them, some that's completely new. You'll see some new lanes. But this is their business they're bringing over. So it's going to be really a good partnership. You know, at their core, they're a good company. This freight market's, you know, taking the starch out of, you know, a lot of folks, right? It's been tough. It's been tough for a period of time. And it's not over yet. We're not declaring victory yet. We're still fighting and scratching for every load, earning every load through your efforts. We talked about those OTIF scores. They're so doggone important because we can show that OTIF score. Paying Prime a little bit more and getting the volume is a heck of a lot better than getting fined by one of these big box folks, you know, 3% or 5% of the value of the cargo, you know, because every cargo is worth a lot of money. So that might be $3,000, it might be $10,000. So our customers don't want to get those fines. What do we do about that? We deliver on time and in full, make sure we, you know, get the right amount of product off the trailer, don't leave with product on the trailer, and all those kinds of things we do.
I know you said partnership. Now, are they going to have to follow the safety like we are? Because safety is our higher color, and we don't want another company coming in and ruin our reputation of safety. So are they going to have to follow the same type of safeties?
You know, this is where there's a line, and that is, you know, they've got their own insurance. They come to us with their own insurance. Just like Wheel-Trans and other A trucks, they buy their own liability insurance. So we don't want to create confusion with potential plaintiffs out there about who is responsible. Okay? So they're responsible for their safety, and they'll maintain a safety department. Now we'll be observing them. You know, it's kind of like, you know, they're our customer now. And we're going to be observing, just like our customers observe our scores. And that's why those scores are important. And we'll make sure they're safe, or, you know, we'll have to go a different direction. But they are committed to safety, just like we are. Well, man, Darrel and Steve got up here.
I would say this, Thanksgiving's coming. Wish you all a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and love you to death for what you do for our company. Thank you so much. Robert?
Absolutely. God bless you. God bless America, and God bless Prime.
Thank you all very much.